to Candi's Classic Game Shrine, everyone. Today I want to go over and review a homebrew item from the Virtual Boy fan community. The item we're looking at today is the Virtual Boy Cart Programmer by Kevin Mellett. Kevin has brought us things like the USB link cable, the regular link cable, the USB Virtual Boy controller adapter, and so much more. This handy little item allows you to do a lot of different things with ROMs and physical games. For instance, the cart programmer can help you dump Virtual Boy carts and saves to a computer or an empty flashable cart, like the ones that the programmer comes with, or like a Flash Boy Plus. There are 3 sizes of carts that you can purchase with the programmer. The sizes are 16, 128, and 256 megs. The largest size cart was only given out to game developers, so I'm unable to show you them here. They look virtually identical to these, they just have a 256 on their label. In order to get it up and running, you'll need a few things. You'll need a computer with pretty much any operating system, a USB-B to USB-A wire. This is what the ends should look like. You will also need a micro SD card. Honestly, any size will work. You're not going to be putting too much on there, and the whole entire Virtual Boy library can probably fit on a 4 gig card. You will probably need an SD card reader of some sort. My computer doesn't have one, so I picked up one of these USB ones. They take a full-sized SD card and a micro SD. You'll obviously need the reprogrammable carts, because, I mean, what's the point of doing this without it? And I also recommend some needle nose tweezers to get your micro SD card out of the slot in your cart programmer. Another thing you're going to need is a game that you're going to want to dump. In this case, I'm going to be using Space Invaders. This was a Japanese only release. And obviously you're going to need the cart programmer and a Virtual Boy to test out your dumped ROMs, or flashed ROMs. Now to get started, always remember to grab your micro SD card and insert it into the slot. You're going to put it pin side up for anyone wondering, that way you don't get it stuck inside. And you're going to give it a gentle little nudge and lock it in. This is where some of the files will be dumped and written to, and it's needed to get the programmer working. Now it's time to plug in your programmer, like so. You take this end, turn your programmer around. There you go. For those wondering, this is an extra power outlet. It's not needed. Most computers are powerful enough to just power this thing as well when it's on and plugged in. Next thing you're going to want to do is plug this into your computer. And upon doing so, you should get the little doo-doo animation. For those wondering about the mascot name, it was Kevin's 2-year-old son that named him Doo-Doo, because he disappears and reappears as he steps across the screen. So, for those of you wondering why he was named that. After plugging in your programmer, you'll need to open up a terminal program like RealTerm or Serial in order to control it. Once you open up the terminal program, you'll need to set up the program to work for the program. I'm using Serial, so if you're also using it, you'll want to go to Terminal, Settings, and then Terminal Settings. And these are the adjustments that you're going to need to make. Adjust the baud rate to 500,000, data bits to 8, and stop bits to 1. Since the release of this programmer, the community has been hard at work to make a more user-friendly GUI that pads, dumps, and flashes ROMs in a breeze for those less technically gifted, such as myself. The GUI is only available on Windows at the moment, though. Otherwise, if you don't want to use the GUI, or on a Mac like me, you'll need to use ASCII commands. The commands needed honestly aren't too complicated, and even a complete buffoon like myself can figure it out, so don't be too intimidated. Just remember these commands always need to be between the brackets that represent greater than and less than. The ASCII command to get this going is PM, remember, within brackets. This stands for print menu and shows all current operations available. You'll find things like the ability to read, write, verify, blank check, and more. When you want to dump a physical game and their saves, you'll want to place a physical game inside the programmer and use the RDF command, again within brackets, to initiate the reading and dumping of the flash memory. Be aware there is a known bug when trying to dump an internationally released game where it runs into an error, but again, the community is hot on the fix, so if you have one, by the time this video goes up, it's likely going to be remedied. Now that you've dumped your games or gathered ROMs that you'd like to flash onto the empty carts, you'll need to pad them first. All files must be padded to the size of the cart in which it's being flashed to. For instance, a 4 MB game would then need to be padded to 16, 128, or 256 megabytes to fit on the respectively sized cart. Thunderstruck was hard at work and also made a padder program to accommodate for all the size carts, including larger size carts like the 128 and 256 meg ones. His padders will work on all operating systems including Mac. Planet VB users DogP and RunnerPack also have made padders in the past, originally meant for the Flash Boy, but it'll also work with the 16 megabit reprogrammable carts too, since the file size would be the same. Using Thunderstruck's Mac padder, you do as follows. I recommend downloading the source code and a .NET application. I used Visual Studio for mine. Setup may vary from application to application. Inside the source files, you'll find a file named padder.csproj. This file is needed in order to run the commands to pad the ROM. After you've gathered your tools and your ROM that you wish to pad, you'll need to open up Terminal and enter the following 2 lines of commands. Basically, this is going to be a simple bash command. After running the command, it will take several seconds to a minute, and then your padded ROM should appear in whatever directory your original ROM was from, with the same name as the original ROM copied, along with a number representing the size you padded to. Once you've padded your ROM, it's time to flash it to an empty reprogrammable cart. You start by copying your padded ROM to the root of your microSD card. Then put a reprogrammable cart and the microSD card inside the cart programmer. At this point, you want to go back to the terminal program and input WRF to begin flashing the game to your empty cart. While it's flashing your empty cart, you'll see a progress bar to let you know how far you have to go. So now you're going to take your reprogrammable cart that we just flashed with Space Invaders and put it in here. Okay. And let's turn the Virtual Boy on. There we go. We have flashed a ROM onto our reprogrammable cart. Sorry guys, recording from this is such a pain and I can't afford the Furtech mod because I don't have a Virtual Boy I'm willing to sacrifice. Sorry for the really bad quality video. So there you go. And just to prove that was the cart, turn this around. Today we're using the Virtual Boy. And there you go. This project is entirely open source, and Kevin was kind enough to share everything you need to know in order to build it and use it if you have one. It can be found on Kevin's Cart Programmer build page, which is also linked in the description. If you still run into issues getting it to work, Kevin is quick to respond to emails, and Thunderstruck has been doing development Twitch streams to teach others how to use it and see what projects he's been working on. There are a few threads on Planet VB with loads of useful information regarding the programmer as well. Don't worry, there'll be links for those too in the description. So the Cart Programmer is an adorable and amazing little piece of kit. It opens up a lot of potential for game developers to get their games on the Virtual Boy, and it helps those of us just trying to get another form of a flash cart for the Virtual Boy. It has some flaws in the programming, but they're already being worked on and/or fixed already. If you have the opportunity to get one of the few remaining from this batch, I would go for it. I want to thank Thunderstruck, Kevin, and everyone else on the Planet Virtual Boy forums who have helped make this possible. With all of that said, I hope you all enjoyed, and until next time, guys, take care. And now I'd like to take a moment out to thank my Patreon supporters, the SideQuest Gamer, Michael Carter, and Barclay Crazy. Thanks so much for your support. If anyone else would like to be a Patreon supporter of mine, the link is in the description below.